The main thing is there's one Lord.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
I remember at one question, everybody went around and everybody just kind of looked at each other like,
Yeah, I know.
we gonna answer?
Is this a setup?
Okay. In seeing the first one, what did you think when you first saw it? If you did see it. In seeing the first State of the Church address. Did anybody?
I did see it, actually, and I was pleasantly surprised. I think someone referenced it earlier. So often when we come together, it is to talk about what divides us and where we differ, and we don't have a common focus of trying to improve and get together. And I saw two things there that I really appreciated. One was that common focus on how can we do better at what we do. And the second is I saw some really younger ministers. And I appreciated the fact that we gave voice to well-qualified, but slightly younger men who were no less committed, no less dedicated than some guys who were older. And they gave a fresh voice and yet stayed very true to the book and all that sort of thing. So I really appreciated that from the first one.
I watched the first one, and I actually told Paul, ironically, on the way down here that I participated in preachers' meetings in Missouri and Pennsylvania, and that the preachers' meetings in Texas were a little different. I said, do you know what I mean? And he said, yeah, you just eat. And I said, that's exactly right. But this is going to be an opportunity to dialogue with men of God who love the Word. And that's exciting. Whether I agree with every point of doctrine, with every man on the panel or not, is not the point. We can only be made better. Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So I appreciated what I saw, and I'm grateful to have been a part of it.
Anybody else?
I saw the first one, and I thought it was refreshing to see leaders, ministers, and elders particularly, have these conversations that I only knew of taking place between members over dinner, not in a forum where it could be broadcast on the internet, where their membership could see it, but being bold enough to talk about those topics in a way that was very real. And I think the organization of this event has focused on being real, being pure, and it was refreshing to see those conversations take place in such a bold manner.
Okay. And what did you feel when you were asked to come speak here? Nervous?
Surprised. I appreciate the fact that they wanted to get an elder's perspective. And I thought, Jake, they must have gone down the list and all the other guys said no. But so I appreciated it too, because I think this sort of expanded the perspective by bringing in elders and deacons on this. And a bit nervous in a way, because it's good to be in a forum where you can share your true feelings, and Brother Williams constantly reinforces when he talked to me. He says, yeah, I want you to be real. I'm not going to give you the questions up front. I want you to speak from the heart, speak from your experience, and share what's really going on. And that's risky, and yet he made it comfortable for us to be able to do that, and I appreciate that.
Anybody else?
My first feeling was, what does he want? What is the goal? I'm not sure what the purpose of this gathering is, because I hadn't seen the videos. So that's honestly how I felt about it initially.
I felt like a church member, and what I mean by that is I'm used to walking into church and knowing exactly what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, where I'm going to say it, to whom I'm going to say it. And today I walked into church and I was just sitting there waiting to see what was going to happen. And I'm like, that's how church members feel. They just walk into church every Sunday and they're like, I wonder what this guy's going to talk about this week. So
I can add one more thing. When he asked me, will you participate, the first thing I wanted to know, what are the questions?
So how did you feel in not knowing the questions? Honestly.
I didn't ask. And I was like, just roll with it. I have no idea what. And I didn't even ask, are there questions? Is there a format? Are we pulling stuff out of a hat? Is it audience? I was just like, okay, I think I said yes, and then I started thinking about what I said yes to, and I was like, I guess I kind of can't back out of it now. I just really call and say, I'm really scared about what this is about, so I'm not going to go.
So how do you think this will impact the church, this second one, following the first?
I think it will only get better. See, I think people didn't know what to expect from the first one. And so many people took a wait and see. Oh, I've been to those before. I know what that's going to be like. And I think now that we've had a second one, it says it continues. And secondly, hopefully now more people can witness the fact that something good and productive happened here. And I think more people will now be curious as to what's going on and will want to become a part of it. So I think we've set and established a precedent that will be far-reaching.
Okay, thank you. Oh,
Let me say one more thing,
okay.
okay? How did I feel when I didn't know the questions? I wondered, does this have the potential to become divisive? Will we bicker and fight and argue? And so I was pleasantly surprised, almost refreshingly so, that we could talk about the scriptures and be as in agreement as we were, that we really agree on more than we disagree on. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
Would you do it again?
absolutely. If they'd invite me back. But Brother Williams said, now, Brother Lewis, I want you to speak openly. I want you to tell me what you think. And I told him, Brother Williams, that's not going to be a problem.
Well, thank you guys.
Right.
Did an awesome job. So, yeah, did it again. Okay, so how does it feel now that the second one is over?
I think that's a better question to ask my brother. I mean, you know, because being a part of an event is one thing, to plan an event. So,
You know what? I feel like I wanted a conversation to take place, and I feel like a conversation took place. And I pray that through this, it's not even so much about what happened today, it's what I pray that it does for the future. We have to talk more, you know, and every family that stays together has to eventually come to the dinner table and talk about the issues throughout the years. Not that this should be even looked at as an event, but it becomes now a part of our culture to the point where in the church, we always talk. We always talk to each other. We always communicate with each other. Our communication lines are open. The one sign that there's problems in a relationship is when the parties stop talking. And when a counselor comes into a relationship, the first thing that he tries to get the couple or the family to do is to talk about their feelings. And as the family of God, if we don't talk about our frustrations, our perspectives, our feelings, then we're on the verge of breaking up. And not the church, but this generation. This generation is on the verge of breaking up. So I'm satisfied once again to just know that we are mature, we're able to sit down, and we're able to talk about the things that are going on in the Church of Christ. And we can all walk away still smiling and laughing and shaking hands.
Man, so there's been a change, brother.
yes.
And looking towards the future, how do you feel that change, not only with this, but just in general, even in your life, will benefit the church?
Well, I think the one thing that I think was good is that a lot of stereotypes were killed today. Like there's a lot of things that people think that you can't even put weight on that anymore. Can you bring people together who don't typically think the same? You could just observe the panel and you can see, because we do have a way of picking up on energies of difference. So you could see there were differences in the area, but it was still noteworthy to note that with the obvious and the evident differences, that they still had the ability to express themselves, be heard by others, and listen to what could be potentially, hey, I see it a different way, let me invite you to how I think, and for that to be welcomed and received. So I think one thing is that you kill that, and if there's nothing that the brotherhood receives, if you don't get anything, I just pray that you know that the people that you have literally believed cannot be reached, you'll be surprised what building a relationship can actually do. You know, were relationships built today? I believe yes. I believe that some of the people who met each other here today may continue to dialogue with each other. And if not, we at least had a chance to sit down and we at least had a chance to converse, to meet and agree. And it's possible, you know. Another excellent point that was made today, and I think Brother Lewis made this as well. He said, you know, Brother Williams asked a question. I said, Brother Willie asked a question. My brother asked a question, and he said, you know, there are churches that say, if he doesn't come from this particular college, would you have him? And he says, you know, the danger in that is that if you think exactly like I think, then we won't ever grow. You know, it's like we'll only go as high as what we know, but to invite someone who has a different perspective, it does challenge you. I know just in, I don't know how long it was, hour and a half, 2, whatever it was, just in that time, I received a lot that has challenged me to think different, and it's also raised the bar in how I thought. So, killed a lot of stereotypes, and we definitely, it's definitely a good look for the brotherhood. I think the brainchild was God sponsored, and I'm just glad he allowed him to be the best.
And I'm glad that Brother Jones is now with the North Colony Church of Christ.
Amen.
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 Yes.
We had a wonderful time this evening, and we pray that the church has been edified. We just finished the State of the Church address here in Dallas. We're now going to go 2 weeks from now. We're going to be in Houston, Texas at the Cashmere Gardens Church of Christ, where we'll be hosting the State of the Church address there in Houston, Texas. And then in April the 6th, we'll be in Hernando, Mississippi, where we'll be able to have the State of the Church address there in that community. We pray that you don't miss it, that you tune in, that you pray over it, that you investigate it, be critical about it, but also have the spirit of understanding. And we hope to see you in a city near you.